Hello everyone and welcome to Khan's Tech Lab. As you know, we are working on Git series and we have covered one session and we have learned a few things about version control and Git in session 1. In this session, we will learn a few more things about Git. So, first thing is Git repository. As you can see on the screen, a Git repository is a virtual storage of your project. For example, you are working on a Java project or Python project or Spring Boot application, anything. So all your files will be saved in a place and we call it as a repository. It could be local to your machine, it could be remote to some server. Particularly here Git repository will maintain the versions of the project. As you can see in the image in the picture on the right side, there are two versions in the repository. In the first version, there are three files. You had created three files and committed them and pushed them to the repository. Now it is repository's responsibility to maintain its version. Then later on, you have created a few more files and added few more things and made changes in the earlier files as well. Now again you have committed them, pushed them to the repository, and the repository is maintaining it as version. Now, there will be two types of repositories. One is local, one is remote. Local remote repository is nothing but the repository which is present in your local machine. And remote repository is nothing but the repository which is present on the server side or any cloud. It could be GitHub, it could be GitLab, it could be anything. You can also create your own remote repositories. Now, as you can see on the screen, there are two users, user 1 and user 2. They have cloned. Clone means the first time when we pull the code, everything we will pull from the remote repository. It is called cloning. And first thing he has done is clone the repository from the remote to his local. Then second step what he did is made some changes. Then third step he did is adding them to the staging area, then committing them, and then pushing back to the remote repository. Same way, other user can also do. So this remote repository will hold all the versions of these users. Not only that, it will maintain branches. It will maintain all the branches of every user if they have created. And also every commit they have made here, everything it will store as history. So here is a small workflow of Git. Here is the remote repository on the right side, and here is the local setup. So now the first thing what user will do is clone the repository from remote to his local machine. Then if he whatever there will be four parts in this local area. One is working directory, second one is staging area, third one is stashing area, then finally local repository. This working directory is nothing but it will have all the files of your code or if you of your files. Then staging area is a place where suppose you have made a few changes and you want to commit and push them to the remote repository. What you will do is you will add them to the staging area. So they will be stored in staging area until you commit them. And once you commit them, it will be stored in the local repository. And from there, you can push it to the remote repository. These are the commands which are used like git add, git commit, git push, git pull. For cloning, git clone. It is one way. Suppose you have a few code changes in your machine, and a few updated changes are there in the remote which you don't have. Now you want to pull them, there are two ways. You can directly pull them through git pull, or you can fetch them using git fetch command. Everything we will discuss in the upcoming sessions. So then finally, we have one more stashing area. Suppose you have made changes, you don't want them, you can just stash them. And again, after a few commits or something, you want them back, you can just use this git stash apply or git stash pop. Again, they will come back. So this is the stashing area. So very simple. We have a remote repository from where we will clone the repositories. Once clone, you have this setup, local setup. There we have four parts: working directory, staging, local repository, and stash. Working directory will hold the actual code files. Then staging area will hold whatever changes you have made and added them to commit and push. Once you commit, the files will move from commit area, staging area to local repository. And once you commit them, and once you want to push them, you can push it from local repository to the remote repository. This is push. This is the push mechanism. And pull mechanism is very simple. If you have a few files in your local machine, but some other user has pushed them another few changes into the remote repository and you want them in your machine, either you can just directly pull them using git pull, which will impact directly into the working directory. If you don't want them, you want to just first check whether they are correct or not, then use git fetch. It will come to your local repository. All you have to do is use the git merge command and it will come to the working directory. This is pull mechanism. And git push mechanism is very simple. First, you make the changes in your working directory, then you add them using git add command. It will go to staging area. Then once you have staged, you can commit them. It will go to local repository. From there you can push it to remote. And if you don't want a few changes, you have made a few changes here, you don't want them, you can just stash them. It will be in stash area. And if you want to pull those stash changes back, you can use this git stash pop or git stash apply. Here is a small workflow. We will understand each and every concept of this along with the hands-on experience in the upcoming sessions. So please stay tuned for the upcoming sessions. And if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.